Hey guys, Dr. Tim Pavlak here with Dr. Mike from Physio, Orthopedics, and Performance. We are here today on the 5-minute Tele-Physio Talks, the longest title for the shortest interviews. It's our pleasure to interview today Mr. Nick Haught from Devoted Fitness and Strength. He is the owner of Devoted Fitness and Strength, and he is also a strongman competitor, and he is a handsome and all-around good guy. Nick, thanks for being here today. And I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Mike over in the other part of the clinic, and we will get going with these questions.
Awesome. Well, Nick, thanks so much for coming out. I will let you introduce yourself a little bit. What kind of athletes do you actually work with in your gym, Devoted Fitness and Strength?
Yeah, so as you guys introed DFS, we opened up in 2012. I wouldn't say that we train any specific type of athlete. Majority of our people are adults ranging from early mid-20s all the way up into their late 50s. Pretty much all of them are weekend warriors of some sort or another. But not necessarily your traditional type athlete. But when we're training them, we're still training them kind of in that functional realm as if they were going to be an athlete. We just make sure that we're training, things that are going to be specific to what their goals are, especially in terms of is it practical, is it useful for them, or is it something that is going to be dangerous or not as applicable to them, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, kind of melting into different pots. I guess our follow-up from there would be then, what are you doing as a coach to maybe keep yourself healthy, but also keep your athletes healthy?
Yeah, so me personally, I'm fortunate that since I own a gym, I still have access to it. I'm doing a lot of training at home right now myself, just kind of out of solidarity with these guys, but I still have access to everything. So my training personally has not really changed all that much. For our members though, and for, our clientele, we've taken everything online for them. And basically at this point, they're getting full devoted strength workouts at home. We kind of broke everybody up into groups based on what equipment they have available, whether it's kind of the minimal, maybe they just have bands and suspension trainer, or maybe nothing, all the way up kind of tiered through kettlebells and then up to a barbell. So they're not missing any steps in terms of the fitness right now. In terms of keeping them healthy, that's definitely a little bit tougher for us at this point because a lot of that stuff, the mobility, the crossball work, and the recovery type stuff is kind of on their own accountability right now. So we don't see them in the gym like we used to make sure they're doing that. Things like our warm-up, for example, brought in a lot more mobility for the hips and low back especially. And we saw a pretty marked decrease in issues in those areas with people. So I can hope at this point that they're still doing that. And then of course we're sending people to you guys when issues do come up and troubleshooting stuff as we can. But a lot of that's on them at this point to make sure they're doing it. We're checking in, stuff like that, but we don't get to see it like we used to.
And not everyone has the access to the same gym equipment. What is the most interesting substitution from gym equipment that you've seen so far?
I wouldn't really call it a substitution, but just kind of like a pivot. We're doing a lot of, because we don't have necessarily the loads that we're looking for to create strength or the hypertrophy work, whatever it is in particular that requires that load. We're doing a lot of kind of pre-exhaust movements before our quote unquote main movement. So things like a minute of what we call a Hindu squat, which is a very knee forward squat before we go into a regular squatting pattern, right? So to kind of pre-exhaust the quads, or some type of unilateral hamstring movement before we squat to kind of pre-exhaust that and just try to basically maximize how much we can get out of the weight that we do have, and so those have definitely been some interesting things. We've had to get a little bit creative and do some variations of push-ups, for example, that we don't normally do. If you guys have a chance to Google it, I'm, kind of tethered it. Well, do you want me to try to demo something real quick?
Yes, more than anything.
All right. So I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, but this movement's called a blast off push-up. And it's sneaky difficult. And it's one that I haven't used in a long time. So it's kind of like in the boot camp days. But we brought it back, and it's definitely smoking some people's shoulders out and kind of in the best way possible. Not injuring them or anything like that, but it's definitely a good movement. So hold on, let me ditch the headphones and get on the floor here. Thumbs up, yeah. Right, starting at the bottom of the push-up, you go straight back.
I like it.
Did you guys see that okay?
And that's called a
it's called a
Buzz
blast
Lightyear
off
push-up.
Buzz Lightyear push-up. Yeah, so a blast off push-up. And it's that kind of back position when you go back into your hips. You want to keep the knees just a little bit off the floor, right? So you're getting a little bit of knee extension work in there when you're back there, but also that direct press back with the shoulders. So things like that, we've been kind of, being creative with those types of movements to really get the most out of what we have. So
Absolutely. Well, being that you're a guy pretty well versed in the exercise physiology world, if someone's listening right now and maybe they're doing a little bit of work on their own, do you have any sort of technique or advice that they can be doing at home? If you're prescribing this stuff already, that they can be doing at home to, one, allow them to recover well, and two, allow them to keep pushing performance? Because obviously, while gyms are closed, obviously exercise is not. So how do they keep moving forward?
We're definitely very big on nutrition here. That's one thing that people can put a lot of focus on right now. There's a lot more time at home. Hopefully people are cooking a lot more for themselves right now. That's, like I said, just an area that we can put a lot of improvement on. Also being at home and not having to commute, hopefully that frees up some more time for people to get a little bit more sleep too. But if you're not getting enough sleep, all the rest of the stuff kind of is that icing doesn't really work as well, if that makes sense. So one of the things we want to make sure that people are doing is just putting a more emphasis on that, turning Netflix off a little bit sooner and that sort of thing.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I definitely appreciate that last point. I think there are so many athletes out there who are more under-recovered compared to overtrained. I think that's a big thing that people kind of forgo. And as you guys can see over at Devoted Fitness and Strength with Mr. Nick Haught, there is no shortage of knowledge. And he wants you guys to know, we want you guys to know that if you are interested in looking for information to keep your fitness moving forward, that they are offering a full array of online services, including an evaluation with Nick to go over what you have at home, what you can do to push your fitness forward, priced appropriately and whatnot too. We want you guys to know over at DFS that we want to offer a discount code. It will be DFS for our telehealth services. It'll give you a discount. So if you have aches or pains or new things popping out, we still have your back, even if we're not seeing you in person, and we're trying to protect our families and your families as well. But you can head over to physioorthoperform.com, type in the keyword DFS, and you will get a discount on our telehealth services. So we definitely have your back no matter what. So Nick, thanks a lot for today. We appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.